What is going on, Nuggets Nation NBA fans? My name is Tom Leuthner. Welcome back to Nuggets Today, presented by FanArch. Like we have every day, we got some topics to cover today for you guys. So the first thing I want to start with is the fact that Jamal Murray may have some more motivation going into this offseason than he's had just about any other offseason, I would say, prior in his career. And that is the fact that he might need to take a step forward and knows that strictly because of the lack of depth at the point guard position and the fact that this is a roster that is now contending again. Not to say that last year's roster wasn't a contender, but they weren't contending. They made the moves. They listened to Jokic. They made everything. They put everything in front of them to go ahead and win another finals. Now, we all know Jamal has been super inconsistent in his playoff performances the last few years. I want to say the last 3-ish years, Jamal's been a player that I've been personally more frustrated with. And I know I would get frustrated with MPJ here and there, but with MPJ, I knew what I was getting. You're a three-point shooter who's going to take every shot that you get the chance to. You're not the greatest defender in the world. You're going to rebound when you can. And obviously, you're injury prone. So that was what you were getting with MPJ. I think that not only I knew that, but I think every Denver fan up to this point has known that, and he could give you the 30 points a game if you needed that, or 30-point games if you needed that rather. But he's going to give you 18 to 20 just about every night. He's going to give you at least 12 points. A guy like Jamal, I was listening to Denver Sports, and they were talking about Jamal, and they pointed something out that I didn't even realize. This is the first offseason that Jamal Murray is truly healthy going into it. Now, he dealt with the injury last year after the playoffs and went into the offseason a little hurt. Year before that, he was a little hurt. He obviously tore his ACL earlier in his career or a few years ago. So this is the first offseason that he is going into where he is fully healthy. Obviously, he dealt with the sickness in game 7 or games, was it 5, 6, 7 of the Thunder series. And that took a little bit of a toll, led to his inconsistencies a little bit. But like I said, there might be more motivation because he actually is healthy. There's a roster around them that is built to finally go ahead and contend for another NBA Finals. They were pushing their bodies. They were pushing themselves to the max, to the limit the last few years without a bench. They were doing what they could to actually go out and try to win a Finals. And like I said, I think it's going to be motivation for not only Jamal Murray, but the entire Nuggets organization and team to actually go ahead and try to compete for another ring. Now, this next topic I want to talk about does include Jamal Murray, and it's transitioning from him. And it's the question that I've been, talking about with other people. I've been thinking about, and it's who's the second most important player on this team outside of Nikola Jokic. And I want to say that every year prior to this past year, my answer has always been Jamal. And I don't know if it's truly because he was that important as a player or if it's because of his contract or what it was, but it's always been Jamal. He's a great player. He's a good point guard. He gives you what you need when you needed it. Obviously, we saw the bubble year, him and Donovan Mitchell going with their 50-point games. He was a freak athlete prior to injury. Not to say he's not a good athlete now, but I think that we're not going to see those up and unders and those spinning layups and all those kinds of takes to the rim. So I think every year prior to this year, it was Jamal Murray. In my opinion, that has shifted over this past season at least to be Aaron Gordon. I think that this past year, Aaron Gordon was more important, in my opinion, than Jamal was. I know that Jamal is going to give you more points per game, but I think Gordon's a better defender. Gordon did everything you need him to do. The one thing that I would have loved to see more of from Aaron Gordon was rebounding, which I know was tougher because he was guarding the perimeter a good amount of the time. He was getting out to shooters when he needed to, and that led MPJ to get more rebounds. But coming this year, I think that you need to see more rebounding out of Aaron Gordon. And in the next few episodes, I am going to do my player evals, my player breakdowns, and what I think they're going to do, what I think they're going to average. But I do think that this upcoming year, you're losing 7 to 8 rebounds per game in MPJ. Not to say that Cam won't do that for you, but I think that we're going to see more around 4 or 5 rebounds per game with Cam. And then you'll see a guy like Aaron Gordon have to come in and sort of grab more rebounds if Denver needs it. Obviously, you're going to have the non-Jokic minutes, which should be efficient because they actually built a bench, but I do think that Aaron Gordon needs to play a little bit more down low when you need him to, and I do think that he is really the second most important option on this team. I think that he's the guy that is going to get everything done. He's a guy who could handle the ball as a big player, as a power forward. He's a guy who can go in and help the second unit, man that second unit. Not saying Jamal can't, but I think that Aaron Gordon gets it done when you need him to get it done. 2-game winners this playoffs. I mean, he's been amazing for Denver. He is not only loved on the organization, but he's loved in the community. You could tell he has his head down, working as hard as he can. The splits that he has shot, the comparison in splits between 2 years ago and this past year are truly amazing. You could tell how hard of a worker he is. So if it came to me and you were going to ask me who the second most important player was this past year and this upcoming year, I would say it is Aaron Gordon. Now, we're talking about the power forward position with Aaron Gordon being that power forward. Now, this is my take, and it's going to be interesting because I don't know how many people are going to agree with me. I did have my talks in the community, and some people did agree with me. And my take is I wish, and I know that Denver needs to bring in another point guard. I know that they have AG. I know that they have Duran at power forward, but and I guess Watson. But I know the need is a point guard. The necessity is a point guard. I would have loved to see Denver bring in a guy like Boucher, another power forward, another bigger body that you could run with Jokic because they're good defensively. That's what's tough. And I know it should be Duran Holmes. I know that. It's Duran Holmes. It's going to be Duran Holmes. But I also get a little nervous because we don't know what he looks like in real NBA games. We did see his flashes of potential in the Summer League. But it's going to be Duran Holmes. And I know that's going to happen. And they could play him next to Jokic. But I would have loved to see after the MPJ trade, I'm not saying Cam Johnson's not good. And he's going to be the starting small forward, obviously. I would have loved to see times where Aaron Gordon is running the 3. And now I think with Duran Holmes that could happen, but we'll only see it for a couple minutes a game because Duran is probably going to have to work his way into that rotation. And what made me think of this was seeing an old graphic from the bubble years where Denver was running a legitimate lineup of, not in order, Jokic, Millsap, Plumlee, Jeremy Grant, Bol. I'm not saying that lineup is great all the time, but I do like the bigger lineups, especially with the amount of big man depth in the NBA. Seeing Aaron Gordon at the 3, to me, would be a massive upgrade for Denver. He's a guy who obviously proved he could shoot. He could be that guy if you need him to be. He could handle the ball when it's needed. So if you're able to go ahead, and I know they're not going to bring in a power forward now. I think it's going to be Duran Holmes, like I said. But if Holmes is able to work his way into that rotation and be the player that we all think and know he should be, then I would love to see Aaron Gordon running the 3 for a little while. Maybe get Cam off the floor if Cam needs a break and AG is still good to go. You throw AG in at the 3, Duran Holmes at the 4, and then Jokic and Val at the 5. I think that would be a massive factor for Denver. And you have, like I've covered in the past, you have the opportunity to play some bigger lineups now. Maybe not as big as the lineup I just named, obviously, but some bigger lineups. Now, this last segment is something that I like to do. I like to get you guys involved, and I like to talk about what you guys bring up. And somebody that keeps getting brought up in the comments is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Unfortunately, Denver's not bringing KCP back unless he gets bought out, which Magic aren't going to do, even though the Grizzlies aren't going to do, since they just got rid of Desmond Bane. So it's not going to happen, I don't think. Maybe they want to move on from him because he's on a big contract. He's a little bit older. I doubt they buy him out. If they're going to get rid of him, I think they're going to look for a trade suitor. And I don't think Denver's going to trade anything, especially their young guys like Strother, who is KCP-esque type player. He's just not as good of a defender. And I don't know. I think that KCP could have brought more to the table and didn't. He never really put the ball on the floor. I know that's not his play style, but Strother could be a guy who, if he becomes defensively sound, is, in my opinion, better probably than I guess what KCP was for Denver. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today, Nuggets Nation. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Comment down below if you guys want me to talk about anything, cover anything. You guys want my opinion on any certain players, and I will go ahead and give that to you. Like I said, I'm going to be doing player breakdowns, evaluations, what I think their stats are going to be, etc. And that's all I got for you guys this episode. So I'll catch you guys next episode. Thank you guys for watching and continue checking out Nuggets Today.